I'm pregnant. I want to show you guys these tests because I took these a day ago, I think, or 2 days ago, and I feel like they're gonna go out soon. So I just want to get this on record. I'm pregnant. Guys, I'm pregnant! I am so excited. Baby number 3. Hi, if you're brand new here, my name is Erica. I have 2 boys, a 4.5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I'm pregnant with baby number 3. We are over the moon. We are so excited. And I wanted to sit down today and just tell you about, I'll have uploaded like the actual vlog and the footage of me finding out, but I wanted to kind of just chat about it, chat about finding out, talk you through like the cycle and how long we were trying, and just like some of the background info. And then I'll do my first pregnancy update. I'm 3 weeks and 3 days today, which is so exciting. It's so early. I found out so early, guys. I love being pregnant, and having both my boys has been like the ultimate blessing, and I've documented both my pregnancy experience with Hugo and with Theodore, and so there was no way I wasn't gonna do it for this baby, and we're just elated. We are elated to be growing our family, and so excited. So excited. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with, okay, let's chat with like finding out. So if you watch that vlog, there was a lot of footage. Currently, I'm 3 weeks and 3 days. Like I said, I just found out like 4 or 5 days ago, and I started testing I have my like little, I will do a separate like ovulation and pregnancy test progression. Guys, this is like a little insight into my brain. I started testing it was either 7 or 8 DPO when we got pregnant. This was our 3rd cycle trying. Cycle that we didn't try, I got a high ovulation test on cycle day 10, and then my peak was cycle day 11. So that was like sort of normal. But then my next cycle, the cycle that we were trying, I got a high test on cycle day 9 and a peak on cycle day 10. So it was a little bit earlier. It wasn't like there wasn't extremes, but for me it was like the whole like year that we weren't trying, it was like clockwork every single day. It was like high cycle day 10 and then peak cycle day 11 sort of thing. So for it to be kind of moving around a little bit was like messing with my head. We didn't get pregnant that 2nd cycle that we tried. This past cycle, so the reason that in my finding out I was pregnant video, in vlogging taking the test, I really did not think that I was pregnant, because again, my cycle was very strange last month. I was tracking my cycle using the Ovia app, and I had a day of spotting before my period started, which never ever happens to me, ever. So I had a day of spotting, then my period actually started the next day, and I had my period for 4 days, normal. But then, sorry, the sun is like coming out now. Then I had 2 days of spotting after my period ended, which again, not normal for me. So I was like, that's really strange. When do I like consider, what's the first day of my cycle? Is it the day that I was spotting? Is it the day that I actually got my period? So I was also super confused about DPO and cycle day, because so then I decided, okay, I'll count my cycle starting with the day that I like really started my flow, which wasn't like the first day that I was spotting. So then ovulation too was like a little bit all over the place, because I was testing and I wasn't getting a high test cycle day 9, wasn't getting a high cycle day 11, wasn't getting a high cycle day 12 until the nighttime. And like, again, I hadn't ovulated as late as cycle day 12, cycle day 13 in so long. So it was like freaking me out, because we really wanted to try that month. And I know that sperm can live in the uterus for up to 5 days, but things just weren't timing out. So finally I got what I believe was my peak. No. See, and again, this is where it's tricky, because it could almost look like I got my peak on cycle day 12 at like 2:20 in the afternoon. But then it could also look like I got my peak on cycle day 12 at 8 p.m., which is when I think I actually hit my peak, was cycle day 12 at 8 p.m. But then I had a really, really dark line on cycle day 13 at 6 a.m., which is strange, because I think a lot of doctors say that you have your LH surge in the morning, but like at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So to get a surge at 6 a.m., I was like, I must have actually hit my peak the night before. Cycle day 12 at 8 p.m. when I tested, like that was my peak. Even though the next test was like a little bit darker, they always say like go with the first test where the test line is as dark as your control line, if not darker. And like that's your peak. And you can have other LH surges and you can have other tests that look really high or like look like peak, but go with the first one. So I started testing 7 or 8 DPO. And then finally got like, I could see the super faint line on cycle day 21, which was 7 or 8 DPO at 2 o'clock p.m. That's when I was like, you know, I was up by the window testing. I could see the line. And then I've kept and will keep testing because today I'm cycle day 25. I'm 11 or 12 DPO. I could like, it's getting darker, and that's the thing that I've been most concerned about is like just the line getting darker. I just want the line to get darker. I've also been using the like first response test that again I'll show in a separate video. But then it was so exciting getting these digital tests that said pregnant. And yes, because I had taken some digital tests that did, like before I took this digital test that said pregnant, this clear blue, I had taken a clear blue test earlier in the day and it said not pregnant. So I was like, no, I need this digital test to say pregnant, and I wanted to use this digital pregnancy test that says pregnant to tell Jeff. And so I waited like a couple hours and then it finally came up pregnant. And yeah, so that's the journey I've been on. If it feels chaotic and a little all over the place, it's because it is. It felt so surreal this time. Like it really hasn't sunk in. Like it has sunk in, but it also just feels like so wild. Let's chat about how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm definitely feeling pregnant. So I'm gonna make a separate like 2-week wait video what I was feeling when I thought for sure, guys, the second cycle that I tried, I was pregnant. I thought for sure I was pregnant. I was so disappointed when the tests were negative because I was having all of these symptoms, right? I was symptom spotting to like the 10th degree. And I didn't really have any symptoms until like a few days ago. I wrote them all down, and yeah, especially now, like the past couple days, I've been having some like really major pregnancy symptoms, and it's so fantastic. I love it. Bring on all the pregnancy symptoms, she says. So I am experiencing a little bit of nausea already in the mornings, and it's usually like first thing when I wake up. Like truly, like when I sit up out of bed for the first, I would say half hour, I feel nauseous, but then it goes away, and I'm really fingers crossed hoping that that's how it stays, you know, famous last words. I'm hoping. With both the boys, I was always, my battery light is flashing, which is annoying. With both the boys, I was always nauseous in the evening. I never had like traditional morning sickness in the morning. It was always either like sort of an all day thing, or more likely 9 times out of 10, it was an afternoon into evening thing. With Theodore, I was so sick in the evenings. And it seems to be the opposite this time. Right now, again, I'm so incredibly early. Tomorrow is like the first day of my period, so like technically I haven't even missed my period yet. But yeah, so I'm experiencing that. Another pregnancy symptom that I'm experiencing is my boobs have gotten a little bit bigger, just a little bit. Nothing like wild yet, but it's funny, I picked this bra out to put on this morning, and I was like, oh, you know, I don't tend to love this bra because there's a lot of space in between my boob and the cup. And I breastfed both my boys and already like was pretty flat chested to begin with. So you can only imagine after breastfeeding 2 boys, you know, like there's like nothing there. So this bra specifically, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of space and it usually like, doesn't look nice. I put it on and I was like, oh wow, okay, like they're filling this bra out. So definitely a lot of like nipple sensitivity. I think the biggest one is just like I feel like been feeling in my uterus. Like I've been feeling so much, like just all the things that are happening, I'm feeling them in my uterus. And I definitely had like some like pains and like little twinges here and there. I've definitely been feeling like, you know, my body sort of like changing a little bit, and was definitely tired last night. Although I will say to moms who have, you know, 2 kids, 3, whatever. Like there's always gonna be that baseline tiredness. Like we're always just tired. So I haven't felt like that overwhelming pregnancy exhaustion yet, but I definitely felt pretty tired yesterday. And yeah, definitely very thirsty and have to pee like all the time. That's sort of like pregnancy when you're thirsty and have to pee like every 20 minutes. Sorry, the battery died, so I just charged it for a little bit. Can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, I think that's all of my symptoms that I've been experiencing so far. That's how I'm feeling, and I can't believe I'm pregnant. I have not called my doctor yet. I have not been to the doctor yet because it's so early. I'm due, my apps are saying like my period will come tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to calling the doctor, and they usually want you to call like after you've missed your period and making that appointment. And it feels like, for me at least, it always, the longest stretch of time is between when you find out that you're pregnant and that first doctor visit. It feels like forever. A little bump shot, like my first official bump shot of pregnancy number 3, baby number 3. So here's my belly. Pretty normal. Nothing too different. Looking the same. I'll talk about this in another video, but I'm changing my mind about my OB. I think I had vlogged going to a new OB. I think I'm changing my mind about that, but I'm not 100% sure. On the to-do list is calling the old OB's office. My OB, who delivered both Hugo and Theodore, did my C-section for Theodore, is no longer practicing OB. She's just doing GYN, and so I'm thinking I will switch to the other doctor in that same practice, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm a little out of breath, if you could hear that too. So I don't know, I have a lot to think about, and I am planning on calling that office. That office is no longer affiliated with the hospital that I delivered both Hugo and Theodore at, so I can't deliver at that hospital. So I need to find out which hospital she is delivering at. It's a lot. It's all over the place, but I think I'll talk about that in my next video, because I'll have called the doctor by that point. In my next update, I think I'll do an update every 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see. I'm taking a prenatal, in case you're wondering. I'll show it to you, 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry, this is like the longest video ever. I'm taking a lot of vitamins. So I was taking, this is fertility support for her. I got this after the 2nd cycle that we tried, and it didn't get pregnant. They're little packs. This is their Conceive. So this whole thing is like, it has vitamin B12 in it, folate, but it also has inositol, I think it's called, which is apparently supposed to help like the quality of your eggs. And they were little packets, very similar to, I think it's called Pregmate, that I took when we were trying for Hugo. But I got nervous, so I started taking this the first day of my period up until like cycle day 11, I think it was, because I was getting nervous that it was pushing my ovulation day. I don't know. So I stopped taking them, which is why I have so many left. So I thought I'd just mention that. But these are the vitamins that I'm taking on a daily basis. So I switched over to the Nature Made Prenatal with folic acid. I was taking for both of my pregnancies before the Garden of Life prenatal, which I still think is fantastic. This one has actual folic acid in it versus folate. I'm not going to get into like the difference between that. I'm not a doctor, but because this has folic acid in it, I got this. And I also have been taking this calcium, extra calcium vitamin. This is 1200 milligrams of calcium plus extra vitamin D3. Also taking this Mary Ruth's CoQ10, these gummies. Oh my gosh, guys, these gummies are so cute. They're in the shape of little hearts. I'll link all these down below. But CoQ10 is also supposedly really fantastic for if you're trying to get pregnant, for the quality of your eggs. And especially if you are like my age or older, I think a lot of fertility doctors do recommend CoQ10 because it helps with like creating a healthy egg and like thus a healthy baby. It's my super simple, again, not a doctor obviously. Also taking magnesium. I was taking this during my pregnancy with Theodore because of restless leg syndrome. Also taking omegas 3, 6, 7, 9 by Mary Ruth's Organic. This Mary Ruth's, I guess the brand is just called Mary Ruth's. I was calling it Mary Ruth's Organic, whatever. By Mary Ruth's. This is a vegan gummy. And taking My Kind Organics vitamin C spray. So I have 2 kids. One of them is in school. You guys know Hugo's in preschool. He's in 2 different programs. I take my kids to a lot of different activities, just trying to keep myself, especially now, trying to keep myself as healthy as possible. I also wanted to mention that I have not contacted my endocrinologist yet. So when I was pregnant with Theodore, I was on levothyroxine for my thyroid. I have Hashimoto's disease and hypothyroidism, and it was a small dose that I was on, but I was on it. And he said the next time you get pregnant to call, and more than likely I would go back on it. So I'm thinking after I call my OB, I will call the endocrinologist, and we can get that blood work done too. So really exciting. I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm pregnant. It's like the most exciting thing in the entire world. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next one.